Thank you, Chair. Minister, thank you for being with us here today. I'd like to go back to a topic that we missed. I'd like to go back to cannabis. There are two particular points that interest me. First, the pardons and suspensions. The NDP would like to see these files deleted. My colleague, Murray Rankin, that you know well, proposed a bill to do so. Aside from the debate about record suspensions or pardons, is this something we should do? Where are we in the process? We've talked a lot about it since cannabis was legalized. Well, now these people are still stuck with their records. So what are we doing on that?
Has made a commitment to bring forward. He's the minister responsible for the records system, and he's made a commitment to bring forward the legislation that would be required to bring in the new regime. Without debating it further, it is a system of pardon. A pardon for simple possession of cannabis that would make pardons more accessible and affordable to those individuals that have them. By the way, I take the opportunity, just briefly, to acknowledge, the important work and advocacy of Murray Rankin on this thing. I've had many discussions with him. We have a fundamental disagreement on the best way forward, but we both agree that it's necessary to go forward.
J'apprécie ça et on peut.
I appreciate that. We can agree to disagree. But we're going to continue to push for this because we believe that it's really the best way to move ahead. We need to suspend these records. So now I will address my questions to Mr. Goodale about this because he's the one in charge of this. So I also wanted to look at, and we may talk about different levels of government here because there's different jurisdictions, but I'd like to know about how the implementation will take place. I see media reports. I'm not sure if this is just anecdotal evidence or there's real facts. But we talk about people who continue to obtain marijuana on the black market because there is a lack of stock. There's difficulties in Ontario in particular. So what are you doing? Are you working with the provinces to solve this situation? Because I think this kind of goes against your objective of eliminating the black market and to at least reduce it sizably.
As I've said many times about this, it's a process, not an event. In the process of implementation, I certainly acknowledge that some of the provinces, not all, but some of the provinces have experienced difficulties in their supply chain. In response to that, Health Canada has been working diligently to when organizations and private entities qualify for a license for the production of cannabis, those licenses, we've been moving that process through quite efficiently, and a number of additional new licenses have been granted, about 600% increase in the last 18 months in the grow capacity of those licensed producers. I remain confident that the system is capable of keeping pace. We have seen a significant uptake. It appears that when you give Canadians a legal choice, when you give Canadians a licensed, regulated, safe, and socially responsible choice, they'll make it. And they're demonstrating their willingness to embrace this new regulated system. And I think that's why we're seeing, perhaps higher than anticipated demand. I don't have a precise estimate, but quite frankly, every dollar spent from a legitimate source is one less dollar organized crime makes. And on the very first day, almost $1 billion, several million dollars was spent in provincially licensed distribution centers, either online or retail stores. And that was several million dollars that organized crime didn't make that day. And so, I think we're making significant progress in this. I'm confident that those supply chain problems will be worked out. I think the provinces that have had a good experience with this will be able to share their experience with those who are still in the process of implementation. We know, for example, in British Columbia and in Ontario, they've not yet moved. In British Columbia, only one retail outlet. In Ontario, none yet. But when those begin to open up, I remain very confident that those supply chain issues will be resolved and Canadians will be given a better choice.
Je vais être obligé de vous interrompre, mais merci pour votre réponse.
I'm sorry, I have to cut you off, but thank you for your answer. We don't have a lot of time left. Thank you, Chair. Another question I had was about the border issue. I'd like to take a different angle than my conservative colleague. We always talk about figures, but I'm wondering if there are still talks going on with the U.S. about this. You know what our position is on this. We think we should suspend the Safe Third Country Agreement to allow these people to make a request at a regular border station. But are talks still ongoing with our U.S. colleagues about this Safe Third Country Agreement? Can you give us an update on that?
I've reached out to the Secretary of Homeland Security, gone to Washington, met with their senior officials. We've made our position clear that we believe that there are opportunities to enhance and improve the Safe Third Country Agreement, which will be mutually benefit to both countries. It's an ongoing discussion. It's a complex one, but it's an ongoing discussion.
Est-ce que vous êtes en mesure de me dire qu'est-ce que ça veut dire améliorer?
Can you tell us what you mean by improving it? I'm not sure that's the right translation of what that means. What exactly does improving the agreement mean? What do you think you should change or improve with this agreement?
Application that it has had the effect of encouraging people not to attend at regular border crossings, the point of entry, but rather to cross irregularly, and that's been a factor for both us and our reciprocal partners in the United States. And so we believe that there are discussions and ways in which that agreement might be enhanced to encourage more regular use of our border.
Parfait.
Merci, M. Dubé. Madame Sau.
Thank you very much, Mr.